Welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It is another Wednesday, and we're right back here at you. Welcome. My name is Keelan, and I am here as always with two of the best co-hosts you could ever have. Did I say co-host? No, we're all one host. We're all one mind, one body, and we move in unity.
Yes, the
Yeah,
Holy
I'm here
Trinity.
with definitely back with Nick and Dejan. How you doing, fellas?
Wonderful, man. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right?
It is
Yes.
definitely Wednesday, man.
Not Odin's Day, but Wednesday nonetheless.
Yes. We do not have another Odin's Day upon us. However, um, I'm fine with that. I think there were some powers at work for this Wednesday either way.
Hey, what are you guys talking about? It's What If Wednesday now.
Where, sir? Where?
On strawberries and coffee.
On strawberries and coffees now.
This is true. I totally forgot about that. I apologize. And hey, I guess we can run it into a What If Wednesday out. What if you don't like this movie we're about to cover? How about that?
Don't apologize. My quality of my videos are terrible.
And we'll leave that to the fans to decide. So here we are, guys. We are coming into this show, this episode about the movie that came out in 2020, Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Tenet is a movie that I believe came straight to HBO Max. However, I want to say it also came out just early enough in 2020 where it still was able to hit theaters for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it just didn't do well.
Yeah, it just didn't do well. And honestly, I don't think anything that came out between February until they actually shut theaters down did many numbers at all.
Mm-mm.
This movie added to that. I mean, hey, you had Christopher Nolan. The stars are John David Washington, son of Denzel Washington, also the star of Malcolm and Marie. And I want to say that's probably his most notable movie. He's been in plenty of other things, Black Klansman. Man, I don't think I've seen too much that he's been in, but he has been in quite a few other things. But most notably, I want to say Malcolm and Marie, which is one of his biggest films, most notable films that people know him for. And the next biggest star next to him is Robert Pattinson, which I thought I wasn't sure how that was going to mesh. I wasn't sure how that was going to mesh, but they did very well on screen together. We also have Elizabeth Debicki. I don't know anything that she's been in, but her face was somewhat familiar. Dimple Kapadia. She comes from a family of Bollywood actors, or actors in general. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else, but I really enjoyed her character. And I want to say the only next notable person would be Michael Caine. Or Sir Michael, who I really appreciated that they threw that in there, Sir Michael Crosby. Like, oh no, you mean Sir Michael Caine? We know what's going on here. But yeah, so the Tenet movie, it's a really good adaptation, I guess, of whatever Christopher Nolan was throwing at us compared to everything else he's put out there. I can't say it's top tier because I mean, what has Christopher Nolan done? Inception, so many Batman movies. I don't even know if I can name them all at this point.
Memento,
Interstellar as well, right?
Interstellar,
Yeah.
Dunkirk.
Yeah, his track record is blemishless at this point if you just look at a lot of those movies because they're great movies. So I also wanted to note the composer or the guy who did the music for this film, the score, Ludwig Göransson. He also has done music for The Mandalorian, Black Panther, Creed series. This Is America with Childish Gambino. He worked on that as well. So just a nice composition of talent all the way around for this movie coming in. However, like we said a moment ago, it didn't do so well with all of those names and all of the notoriety that you could put behind it. We still were dealing with a pandemic that nobody knew how to, why, or when it was going to go on and end. And we're still going through that. So here we are now, about a year later, covering a movie that maybe some missed, maybe some saw, but if you've seen it before, stay here with us, find out what we're going to say about it. And if you haven't seen it, maybe you're not really looking to go and watch it. It is on HBO Max. Stay here with us still and learn a little bit about it. And then maybe it'll ruffle your feathers. Maybe you'll want to see it more. Maybe you won't. Who knows? But we appreciate you for being here with us. Initial thoughts, guys. What do you guys think about this movie just off the
Do you want to go first, Dijon, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can go. So, just to add to the whole pandemic thing, I think it's pretty funny because I remember Christopher Nolan along with Patty Jenkins. I think that's her name. I'm pronouncing it right or wrong. Um, Chick that did Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Between them two, they were one of the two directors that was screaming at the top of their lungs about you know cinema needs to be in cinema, which in the theaters, and that we shouldn't be watching shit on the streaming network because that's where cinema don't belong. So I'm like, times are changing, and interesting enough, and I'm getting to see it with a lot of other films, not only with Tenet, and actually it's funny because Tenet wasn't straight to streaming. That was just one thing Christopher Nolan wasn't going to have at all. And he had it be pushed out in theaters. And it did get pushed out in theaters. And it just did not make the money it should have made. And interesting enough, I think it was just one of these movies where people were on the fence. And I can see why by a couple reviews and just hearing other people's thoughts on it. But besides that, I think a lot of movies just suffered from last year, in the middle of last year, and this year, even though theaters are actually open. Because I was actually surprised to know that, like, the Suicide Squad didn't make too much money, and people seen that in theaters and streamed it. So I think this is just a universal thing. I mean, until I don't want to say too much because depending on who's listening, I might give these companies ideas on how to capitalize on making money in the streamings business. But I'm not going to say that. Keep that to myself because I'm not getting paid. But yeah, just to allude on that. I thought the movie was. I did want to see this movie when I first seen the trailer for this movie. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. Then when I finally got the chance to see it, I was like, cool. And I did not know that was Denzel Washington's son at all. I was like, oh, that's cool. I love Robert Pattinson in this movie. It took a while for me to get used to him actually talking in his British in his actual voice.
Right.
And I'm like,
it's like, oh, he doesn't sound like a child. Okay.
He acts like one though.
Oh, hey.
But that was just the Trader Joe's parking lot encounter for me. Anyways, the movie was interesting. It did give me a headache here and there. There was some parts where I was kind of lost, and it's basically in its own sense. I felt like it was a little bit of a love letter to the theory of time travel or how time works, or I think they tried to really touch upon, the science of it, and it just made it a little bit confusing. But I enjoyed various parts of this movie. Beyond that, I loved the score. The score was great, and the acting was good. I can't complain about the acting for what everybody did. And after I found out that was Denzel Washington's son, I could not help but just always kind of hear his voice in his kid. I was just like,
it's there. Yeah. No,
it's there. You're your daddy's son.
Yeah. And I want to say really quick, two things really quick. One, I appreciate John David's acting because once you're watching him on screen, you're not thinking like, oh man, Denzel's kid is good. You're thinking like, yo, this dude can act. Like he puts in the work. But then you add that he's Denzel's kid and you think to yourself, like, this is the floor for him? Like, what is the ceiling?
We'll see. I haven't seen Black Klansman yet.
Go see Black Klansman and Malcolm and Marie, and add it to this. Dude has range. Has range. But yeah, the second thing was I'm actually looking at the numbers here for the box office, and it's crazy that we know that this is low for one a Christopher Nolan film. But for what this movie could have been, especially with, like I said, all the names and it was being pushed by Warner Brothers, et cetera, it still made $363.7 million in the boxes. just alone, just in the box office. But easily this movie should have been in the 7, 8s, just based on the who's behind it, what's going on. Like that alone puts it much higher. You double these numbers, no question. So I think that's crazy. Like, and the fact that they're even comparing it to Suicide Squad as far as box office, like, no, not even a little bit. If Suicide Squad did that, they wouldn't complain. But Nick, how did you feel about the movie initial?
Yet another movie that Keelan picked that I hated. No, I'm kidding. I enjoyed it. I actually really liked it. I thought that Denzel's kid, I'm not going to call him Denzel. I'm going to call him John Washington. Right. He did a really good job. He's got a great the screen presence. Mm-hmm. I felt drawn to his character. I think Nolan does espionage and sort of like cloak and dagger and heist the best. I think that he's one of the best at doing that. If you guys want to fight me about that, just look at the Dark Knight's opening scene.
No, I don't actually.
But like, and this opening scene too was really, really good. Like, I'm in agreement with him about this concept that cinema needs to stay in theaters. I do agree.
Nick, you got a little bit of a muffle on.
I'm sorry. Check. Am I back? Can you hear me?
A little. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes my microphone does that. It needs to settle in. But I agree with him when he says that cinema needs to stay in the movies, because I think that this movie would have been more enjoyable if I was in front of a giant screen. I think. And it's not that I didn't enjoy the movie, because I actually really did. The concepts and the mechanisms are incredibly convoluted. Very, very convoluted. And I almost think that you could have gotten rid of the entire reverse entropy thing out of the movie entirely, and it would have been an awesome fucking flick. I think that this movie, if you just took out all the reverse stuff, would have been a great flick that could have stood by itself. I think the reverse stuff hurts it a little bit in the fact that it's selective. And the whole future thing is way selective. It doesn't make any sense. And I think that the more you think about it, the less sense it makes. And the movie even tells you at the beginning, try not to think about this too much, which is kind of like telling the audience, hey, don't think about the mechanisms of how this works. Just enjoy.
Just enjoy
it.
Yeah.
And I did my best to enjoy, and I actually really did enjoy. I like Robert Pattinson too. I think that he's a great actor outside of Twilight. Like I think he does really good films, and I think he's got the chops for it. And I enjoyed all the set pieces. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the storytelling aspects of it. The way Christopher Nolan directs, the soundtrack was great. Lots of really good stuff, but the gimmick was almost too convoluted for me to say that this was a good movie, which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I understand that. Really quick on the Robert Pattinson, I can say I like everything he's in except for Twilight. And that's probably the most notable thing he's in.
My question is that, which I like to ask a lot of people, why is that?
I actually can name a few reasons. The only reason I would watch Twilight is my wife, and I'll just leave it at that.
No. I mean, in a sense of like, because me personally, I sincerely think he did a great job for Twilight, acting wise. In that sense, from reading the books, all 4 books, and what he's given, what I think he played the part of the glitter vampires pretty well. And that's just that in that sense. And I know a lot of people shit on it for the simple reason, it's a girl's thing, which I mean, it's romanticism in a very nasty way, in my opinion. I'm like, he did a good job playing an albino vampire.
Yeah, but those movies aren't considered good movies. I don't.
No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, so I think that's why people dismiss him so much. But then you see him in lots of different stuff. Like he did that thing with Willem Dafoe, The Lighthouse, which is just him and Willem Dafoe yelling at each other in a White House in black and white for like 2 hours.
And I'm trying to be great. And I'm trying to think. Kristen Stewart, she's the same way. Like her whole thing of biting the lip and everything. Like Yeah, you guys are playing these characters to the teeth, but when you really get a chance to see these people outside that movie, it's like, oh, you really can act, and it's like, yeah. Whenever you guys get a chance, Robert Pattinson is also really good in. I forgot the name of the movie, but it's a movie with Tom Holland and a couple other people, and it's on Netflix. And he's playing like a preacher, like a Southern preacher.
Yeah. Something about the devil or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just had to ask that question.
By all means. I mean, I think that I always think just touching a little bit on the things we know about the actors and what they've been in, what they've done well or maybe not so well in. I think that always attributes more so to what we're discussing and what they did in these movies that were the actual film. So by all means, I think it's the greatest thing ever that we have background on what else they've done.
So the question is, you guys think he could do Batman now?
No.
I think he. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
He's
too small. He's too small.
Thank you. I was gonna say, let me be very, very clear. I didn't think Christian Bale could do Batman because, first off,
Psycho.
Val Kilmer will always be Batman for me. I'm sorry, argue, fight me. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer. Those are the only two people we're about to talk about.
George Clooney.
Those are the only two people we're about to talk about.
Come on.
I said what I said.
Adam West.
Adam West, yeah, you got.
Okay, Adam West, but Adam West is like OG Batman. Nobody's arguing that. Who's arguing any of them are better than Adam West? Like,
and who's the actor that plays? He's from Game of Thrones. I forget his name. I forget.
Which
dude. I forget the character too. This is dude in Game of Thrones. He plays Batman on Titans. He plays Bruce Wayne.
You know what? I
think it's
I haven't gotten to see who Bruce is yet, so I don't know.
The father of Jamie and Jamie.
Oh, Tywin, yeah.
Tywin.
Oh, Tywin. He plays Bruce Wayne. Whoa.
Charles Dance.
Yeah. Whoa, that's gonna be crazy. Okay, yeah, he's also another one of those actors that you don't really see coming, but when he's on the screen, he's fucking Tywin Lannister at this point. There's no living that down. So yeah, I guess that again, great actors and the background that comes with them. So as we jump into this movie, I want a couple of things I want to highlight. Right? Did you guys notice that most of not all, but most of the subtitles were in reverse? Like
mine was so behind.
Yours were delayed. Dang.
Yeah, so delayed. And it was hard because this movie is kind of hard to tell what the hell these people are saying sometimes.
Because they're almost speaking in code at certain points. Yeah. So for mine's was not delayed, but the subtitles were running backwards. So the first line would be on the bottom, and then the next line would be above that, and it would work its way up. However,
frustrating.
When they were talking about future events,
that's good to know.
The subtitles would work in order.
And see, that's not a gimmick that we need.
Not at all.
We don't need that.
Not at all. And that's where I understand what you were saying, Nick, about the running backwards thing and the whole reverse actions. Yeah, no, that definitely put a lot of confusion into the movie. Where, I think we all understand where that is beneficial for, the people who like to just be thrown some mystery. But this was, I agree with you, Nick, this was such a good script and concept without showing the whole other, things through the proving glass as we saw. Because it was, for me, it was probably about 40% through the movie. I realized that every time we saw something with two different sides, oh, okay, that's the future. This is the current. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
It wasn't. It was like it wasn't. It was more like another dimension.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, true. But also my whole thing too is like, so the entropy, the reverse entropy that's happening. They at one point, the protagonist, which is the name of the character.
Yeah, that's the name.
The protagonist talks about it like he's in one of these spots. I think it's like at the beginning of the airport scene, and they see the bullet holes, and he's like. Robert Pattinson's like, what's that? And he's like, it hasn't happened yet. And I was like, why? How has it not happened yet? If the bullet hole is there, that means it has happened. And then It makes no sense. It
That's
makes
what I
no
tell you.
sense.
It all makes sense in its own fashion. Like all of this shit already happened. All of it happened.
Right.
It's
So
just you
what
getting to see it played out.
yeah, and what I realized
Yes.
in
All
all
right.
of those
I'll
scenes,
just take your word for it.
No,
and no, no,
I'm just serious because I found it out like halfway, and I'm like, I already figured out the movie now because I'm just like, after she was like,
because they
oh,
showed you it.
yeah, and she was like, oh, the whole thing with, I seen another woman. She was free, and she
Mhm.
just jumped out. I'm like, oh, you're gonna,
Oh,
and
that
they
was
went
her.
back to the path. I was like, oh, that was her. I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't have any problems with those little tie-ins because that is nice to tie in, something into a bow. I think that that's really good. I think that the concept of the reverse entropy is what, like, I don't know. It just, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And another thing that bugs me was the actual time travel factor.
Yes.
Like, how the fuck do you guys not have the technology, not know it, but also for some reason travel
said
a
no.
couple of weeks to a month?
Yes. Or 2 hours or
Then
2 days.
Well, the way they proved that was basically by saying they were lying the whole time and they knew what was going on, but he didn't know what was going on. So
No, but how can you control it? How is it that he's getting
That's the
messages
problem.
from the future,
off of
Yes.
fucking
like
instinct.
100 years from in the future, but then they go in through it and they're like an hour in the future?
And did you
But
catch
who-
how he was getting the messages?
Yeah, he was just talking to them on the other side of the glass.
Not even just through the glass, like they were on intercoms together.
Yeah.
And
I don't get it.
That threw me a little bit. I was like, wait. If he's in the future, how is he talking to him via comm, telling him what's that doesn't matter.
and it bugged me along with I realized that the freaking villain of this shit was at the very beginning of the movie in the car because he had the fucking cyanide capsule.
Mhm.
I was like,
You
okay.
know what? This movie is basically, I think if they hadn't tried to make it like a future thing, they're in the upside down.
That would have been fine. I could have seen it work that way, but I think that the way they played with like jumping into time, that was like where I was like, okay, but how does that make sense? And how are you getting there?
Mhm.
And yeah. So.
And let me just add another thing that bugged me. They had to use the little canisters to make sure they breathe because they didn't want us to think about it, but they kept trying to bring in the science in between the movie.
I think Christopher Nolan has like a mask fetish or something.
Yes, I think he does.
Because he does that a lot in his movies. He's got Bane, then he's got Inception.
And it's also like a terrorism thing. If it's not espionage, it's just terrorism or something about war.
Maybe he has a formula that he believes works.
Yeah, I did like the little nod to Inception with the protagonist at the beginning when he's in the van and they say wake up the Americans, and all of them are like in that sleep that the Inception people use. I think that was pretty cool. They were all attached to like one of those Inception machines or something.
Maybe the movie ties in maybe the movies tie in together, because I want to say even when Tenet came out, that it was a lot of talk of whether or not they were in the same universe as Inception.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it probably could be, but I don't know.
And it's Warner Brothers, so we know they started
like
trying to play the universe game.
I like that little nod, but I don't think they need to go any farther with it. That was like, oh, hey, that's the Inception device. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see anything else that would. Well, as you guys know, I never finished Inception, but I didn't see anything else that would make the two come
You didn't
together.
finish Inception.
No.
That's the Inception here. What the fuck?
Asleep, like
you
missed it. His dream steal.
You're building dreams, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I am clearly being put under a spell because I promise you, I've tried 2 or 3 times and
you got to finish it, and you have to join the chat rooms of everybody. Like, what happened at the end?
Game of Thrones all over again. Nope.
What happened at the? What is the meaning of the ending with the top?
Hey Nick, how long did it take for me to watch Game of Thrones after you guys tried to push it? 10 years?
It took a while. Yeah. It took us having to recreate our podcast in order to get Keelan onto it.
You know what, Nick? You gave me an idea.
Yeah.
And I know how to get around that now. about watching certain things.
There you go.
Crap. There we go.
We'll just put it on while he's sleeping, and then he'll have an Inception moment. There you go.
This next pick around, we're watching Inception.
There you go.
You gotta finish it, man.
I like it.
No, I'm not picking that. I'm fucking with you. I'm gonna torture you.
Let me be clear. I do not think it's a bad movie. I actually absolutely enjoy everything that I see. Just somehow, subconsciously, I click out and I'm done.
Mhm.
Also, being clear, I don't sit still often, so it's probably just because that's when I finally sit down and it's a slow movie. So, um, let's stay in the world of Inception, or so they say, and get back to Tenet. So at the beginning, they have that whole Russian orchestra scene, and the protagonist decides that he's gonna. Now, first off, let's start with that. The protagonist is a part of a secret group that is trying to stop this terrorist act from happening,
Mhm.
but they have nothing to do with the Tenet group because they don't know that exists already. Well, we don't know it exists already.
He
Um,
didn't know.
and he didn't know, correct? But what group were they a part of? Like that? Like, oh, it's just
CIA.
a CIA special operatives group.
Yeah. They just kind of say loosely he's
They just left.
CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I caught that part. It was just like that's all they're giving us on that. All right, fine.
Pretty much.
Um,
Yeah.
and then what did you guys think of the whole cyanide pill being a placebo and not everybody survives? That tells me it's not a placebo.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, well, I would. That doesn't seem like a good way to test your
Yeah.
agents.
And
I did
but
like
to say
that.
not
That was
everybody
funny.
survives, it's like, wait, so why did he survive? Like, at least if you're gonna say everybody doesn't survive, tell me why he survived.
I think he's insinuating that they usually get killed before they can actually use it, or something like
Oh,
that.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because what this was something else I thought. Okay, you took a cyanide pill. I'm still putting two in your head.
Right. Yeah. And they do that a little bit, a couple times with the protagonist, where they put him in a really tough situation that you can't get out of, and then the next scene he's just out of it.
Then he killed
So
his way out of it. Yeah.
he just he just appears in somewhere else. But yeah, I did like that opening scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. It was interesting. Although
All
I
right.
don't understand why you would open machine gun fire in an auditorium full of sleeping people.
Gosh, thank you. It's not just me. It's not just me. But I will say, aside from the opening, because I can't say I like that opening too well as far as the action is concerned. I like the concept of it. Going to save a package and all of that. It was very
Mhm.
what is geez, not Apocalypse Now, but what's the movie where they have to save the president and turns out they kill the president, but it's not the real president, it's the fake president, and they blow up the White House.
Air Force One.
No, but
All,
similar to that.
all I can say, I hope he didn't draw that whole scene coming out from the whole Aurora, Colorado shooting for Dark Knight Rises. Think about it: gas mask, gas, auditorium of people.
Are you saying this was just an extra shot that he had stored away somewhere, and then they edited it after?
I mean, in some fucked up, sick, sadistic way, I wouldn't be surprised if he drew fucking inspiration from that event to this. I was like, damn, this is so similar.
yeah.
I was like, what the
yeah.
fuck?
Unfortunately, with what we consider art, there's so much relativeness in it to things that are happening in real life. I try not to make those connections, or else I'll think all of these people are cynical as hell. And most of them are, I believe, but that's another conversation. So the
Like a
suicide
comedian.
pill. Say it again.
Like a comedian.
So the suicide pills again, I didn't get it, but I like how from there he's even given all of these vagaries, and of course later on we find out that he being the protagonist, these are protocols that he's put into place. Again, doesn't really make sense, but it is the situation that we are living in this universe that we're in of Tenet. So you have
Did he create Tenet?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the concept. Yep.
Yeah.
That he created. And then, honestly, I thought that right around the art gallery. I was like, oh, this is all his work.
I thought that
all
as
him.
soon as he started fighting the guy in
Yep.
the suit.
In the suit. Yep.
Yeah.
As soon as he was fighting that guy in the suit, I was like, oh, that's him.
Yep.
And the only thing that threw me off, and I could be wrong, but I know I just had the feeling I'm not, because I was looking very closely. In the initial fight scene, the first one, you see them going through all the motions. When you see the cuff move of the swap or the guy in the suit, it's a much lighter arm. And then the second time around, the arm is still light, but it's a little more melanated. I think that's done intentionally so that we don't assume, but it's like you think about the storyline. Of course, it's him. Who else would it be?
Right.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of, I could be wrong, but I think they did that. And if they did do that, I actually think that would have been pretty cool. just try to throw you off a little bit. Like, oh, you think you know what's going on here? No, you don't. No, you don't. Maybe that's Robert Pattinson's character in the suit. Um. So yeah, at that point, I did think that, but so I didn't really. They don't give him much information, but he knows everything to do. Like because he's so good at being this special ops ghost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just used all of his ghost connects. And you're a dead man. How are you using your ghost connects as a dead man?
It's like Ian locked. It's like Ian locked a quest or something.
Yes.
The CIA dudes just like go like this and say tenant. And sometimes
Tenet.
somebody will give you something, and other times they might try to kill you. Who knows?
Right. Look, Tenet unlocks a new world. It's like Inception and Westworld are one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another level of Inception. So now you're out of the and technically you could say that. Now that I'm thinking about it, now I understand a little bit how people would say they're in the same world. Because you're not necessarily in the dream state, but all of this is still, and they say it continuously throughout the movie, a temporal experience. So it's really all happening in your brain. Is any of this even real at any point? And that leads me back to what you were saying earlier about the Inception machines and how they woke them up. Maybe they were never awake to begin with.
Oh, I don't know. That might be going a little bit too deep.
I might be going too deep, but I'm thinking of some of the things.
Don't do that.
I hope they don't. But thinking of some of the things in this movie, I think I am starting to put together how people could catch that or would feel that way, would infer that.
To find out fucking Dunkirk is a fucking prequel to all this shit.
Could be.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like his character from fucking Dark Knight Rises is basically having this whole dream, imagining him in a Batman world.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. Let me shut up.
Hey,
Bane was just a pilot in Dunkirk, and then he got downed by the enemy.
And guess where he got his fluids from? 241.
Plutonium. I do like that Nolan uses the same actors.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I like that. You see the Indian dude in this movie is also the one in Inception that helps them with the devices and stuff. He's kind of like Nolan's like guy with the gadgets.
Nice. Look, come to find out, we might discover that not only is he an actor, but he's a specialist for those kind of things on film, like getting different types of gadgets and things on film. That would be pretty dope. You never know. Some of these people in films I find out like they work in a lot of different capacities, and it's like, okay, so this is much deeper than what we were told. So they're trying to stop World War III or the temporal war because it's not nuclear war anymore. And I also like how they tied that in the concept that everybody in general public believes like, oh, the Cold War was about nukes and all of this, and it's like, no, someone basically just uncovered time travel, and the only way for them to protect it from destroying the world, because the people in the future, after they've lost all their resources, they want to kind of come back and destroy the people who destroyed the resources, which, hey, I mean, stupid.
I love that so much. It's like, hey, hey, our world is dying. Let's go to another planet, or let's go back in time. Not let's hold the people accountable for contributing to the destruction of the planet.
Right. But let's be real.
Like
that's
you have like 100 years to try to fix the planet, and then at year 99, everybody's like, let's go to Mars.
Right. Right. And that's the thing. It's like that's kind of what I feel, or what most of us are in the different circles I've heard and spoken. That's what a lot of people feel like is happening in the real world today. It's like, okay, we're destroying this planet. Now they're trying to go to Mars, and can we colonize the moon? And it's like, all right.
Yeah. It ain't going to be us blue collar folk colonizing.
That is
dude, my theory is we already fucked up Mars. We planted ourselves here. Maybe now it's just going back to do the same shit over and over.
What if we discover that ancient civilization that they think was so much smarter than everyone and created all of the superstructures in the world? What if they already left the Earth and went to Mars and screwed it over?
Well, they were, I kind of think that the Martian origins is a good story, because maybe perhaps there was some sort of ancestor that was from Mars that ruined it and then came to Earth.
Yeah. Let's restart it. Yeah, let's plant these motherfuckers again.
Yep.
And then basically other aliens are like, yeah, some stupid motherfuckers. You know that?
You know? So everything else in this movie, the being able to run time back with intention, which is a temporal action. Everything else, and it's really like all thought process. This entire movie is about how strong is your will? Is your will stronger than the next person's will? At that in that question, I would almost think it's a challenge of faith.
I don't know how it works, man.
I'm not
I
sure
don't
how
know.
it works.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's the thing is like, you know, the lady says it at the beginning. Try not to think too much about it.
Ah, come on,
Because-
But
she didn't know she was speaking to me. I can't help it.
No, she
But
was
that-
speaking to the audience.
But that was the thing. Yeah, she was speaking to the fucking audience. That's what literally fucking bugged me. You don't tell us how to not to think about it,
Right.
but you throw all these fucking cues to try to think about it throughout
Yeah.
the movie.
Exactly.
Amen.
Why?
Exactly. Thank you. It's so true. It's like, hey, don't think about it, but we're gonna make this really complex storyline that's all weirdly attached to different things, and then yeah, but don't think about it though.
Don't
Don't
think
think
about
about
I hate that he does these cop outs too. And you know, you brought it to my attention about the protagonist, you know, in these fucking Deus Machinas fucking situations, and they're
Yeah.
just magic level. Like, hey, how the fuck did Batman survive the end of Dark Knight Rises?
There's no, who knows?
I keep asking that. Why is that?
Yeah, and how'd he get to France, and you know,
Everything.
yeah,
Did Alfred know to just meet him there?
Look, all I'm saying is, I firmly believe if you had to choose between Alfred and Bruce, Alfred's kicking Bruce's ass. So explain to me how that man can survive being thrown through walls by Superman. I don't know.
Because Superman's just playing with him. He's like his food.
This is true. Now, this we know because he could put his hand through him.
It's like a fucking cat playing with a mice. That's all Batman is to Superman, man.
I wouldn't even call him a mouse. So mice can chew through metal. I don't think Batman is that volatile or that hazardous towards Superman.
How long as he got green geo rocks. I don't know how the fuck he gets to Earth, but okay.
So I don't really understand this part, right?
Which part?
So you go through all the training, you learn how to utilize your intent, and somehow you're as good as the guy who's been actively doing this for
Hold on.
a lifetime.
What training?
yeah. What training? And
That's
there's
my
no
point.
intent. I don't think intent has
Motherfuckers.
anything to do with it.
Listen,
No, it's not. No, it's not.
When she explained, when
That
he was
makes no
learning how to-
sense.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
That's even worse than it just being a bullet that was in a wall that comes out. Like,
Dude, he's
The
like,
wall wasn't from them. It was a different type of material that they were still studying.
I know, but how does it unshoot? I don't get how a bullet comes out
off of instinct, man.
off of instinct.
It was the fucking metachlorines, the force.
That's the force.
That's how the
It's wrong,
fucking. This is the fucking prequel to the prequels of Star Wars, man.
I see.
this is
If it was a
Mandalorian.
force power, it'd make more sense.
Christopher Nolan is like, hey, Disney, bring me on board. I'm tired of this Warner Brothers shit. Come on.
Dude.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I say the training, because that's what they posed it as it was going to be, and it was not training. It was nothing.
Hold on, let me
She didn't show me
iterate.
anything.
She was like, drop it. He didn't drop it.
No,
you
you didn't.
have to drop it to pick it up. What?
But he didn't drop it.
Exactly.
So he had to think that he dropped it, and then it shoots up to his hand. What?
No, he should have dropped it first and then had
Then
it
it
come
comes
back
back
up.
up. Yes,
that
that's what I thought
would have
was gonna
made more
happen.
sense. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh man, I know some people that like are into physics and shit that watch this movie are probably like, motherfucker, fuck this
yeah.
movie.
Oh, I'm sure this broke a lot of smart people's brains.
Yeah. It broke a lot of dumb people's brains too. So.
It made it didn't break the dumb people. It just made them think they were smart people all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
I understand physics. Like, you understood physics before this movie. Here, pendulum physics. All you need to know.
Hey, fuck that. I quit after chemistry. I fucking quit after chemistry.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I also did not. Well, no. Let's talk about some of the things I did. Like, I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed.
Not the inverted action. The inverted action was
No,
just
even the
weird.
inverted action. Like, all of the action was good. All of the action was good.
No,
part
that
I
scene
really-
where he's in the kitchen going through all those dudes was dope.
That was good.
That was crazy.
That was good. I
He was
love that.
watching.
I like
He was
how
watching Daredevil.
Yeah, totally.
I definitely like how they were utilizing his eye movement for him to spot a potential weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times in movies, they have like people going through, and all of a sudden they grab a broom from here and they throw this from over here, but they're not looking
They never
around for
actually
anything.
saw it. Yeah.
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 He was actively like, oh, what's it? Oh, plates. Oh, mallet. Oh.
Cheese grater.
Sorry,
think about
guys.
it. Think about it. That was the only
Cheese
moment
grater
he
was
was
dope.
badass.
That
Any
was a
other
pretty
part of this
badass
movie, he was just getting his ass whipped.
That's true.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But no, that scene was dope.
Simping for a woman that he just met.
Oh, don't get me started. I did not see a love connection coming, and I was so glad a love connection was
He
not
wanted to.
really
He was like, "Ooh, you a mountain girl? Let me climb you."
You a mountain. That's a good. But yeah, it was. There were some things that were definitely like, oh, you guys want to make this a love? Please don't make this a love story. Please don't make this a love story.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
it's
glad
not a
they
love
didn't do
story.
that.
It's a
I'm
lust
glad they didn't do
story.
that.
Yeah,
It
but it was
was.
still a lust story.
Yeah, it was kind of like the the bodyguard sort of thing,
Nope,
where it's
bodyguard
like,
hit. Nope, the bodyguard hit.
that's true.
I just gotta say, why the hell did she need to wear high heels and she was tall enough?
Because she's high class, and that was her way of one of her ways of seeming high class. Like, remember, one of the things that Andre, her ex-husband, said to her is she thought she was better than him. So
She's
I
a Brit.
fair enough. But I think within that, you have the gown type dresses, like the daytime gowns. You have the high heels. Almost a lack of empathy, so to speak. Not necessarily sympathy, but like she didn't really care for or understand anybody else's emotion if it didn't have to do with her and her son, even though she kept accusing the protagonist of being the same way.
I also didn't understand the painting thing. So she sold her husband a painting she knew she was fake.
Okay, so I think this is how that played out. One, she cheated on her husband with the artist. Two,
sure.
The reason
I think that's just insinuated, but
yeah, that was insinuated. It wasn't said outright.
Right.
But, so when it comes to whoa.
Yeah.
When it comes to the painting, she is an art dealer.
Yeah.
He knew that there was a fake art piece that she had in the gallery. And he purchased it, and she couldn't deny purchase publicly because then questions would be arisen. Why would you not want to sell this piece for twice of what it's worth? Then you turn around and now he has this fake piece of art that you sold and has a receipt from your gallery. And if he were to go to the authorities with that, you could be shut down and not able to sell art anymore.
That's a weak leverage point. I'd be like, okay, bitch, go. Who cares? I didn't know it was fake. It's so good that even a curator doesn't think that it's fake.
Right. Right.
Oh, shit. He's like, okay. He said, okay, bitch, go.
Yeah, like... Yeah,
hey, that's how he was talking to her. Nick's validated in that.
But it's so true. It's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna go to the authorities. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't know that it was a fake.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, like you just say you didn't know it was fake. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
But the whole, I'll never be able to see my son and all of it. It was a lot of real world concern. I'll call it that. A lot of real world concern type of things that were coming into play. And I didn't really understand how the art superseded you not being able to see your kid. Because at one point it went from the art to, he told me I could leave, but I'll never see the kid. So what does the art have anything to do with anything?
The art was the only reason the art was in this movie was as a leverage token for the protagonist to actually sit down with whatever the guy's name was.
Agreed.
I mean, like that. That's
reading through script. Yep.
That's the only reason that it existed, right? It was so that he could go to.
Sorry,
and to go get into that airport safe thing,
right? So that they find out that there was a what were they calling it? Turnstile in there.
And there's two things that I'm confused on. I don't know if you guys caught it. So if they killed him, his past self, where's the present or future self at? He should be still alive.
That's I was gonna bring that up later.
Then beyond that, I'm like, she's still being hunted wherever she's being fucking placed back in the time period.
Yep.
And next to that, how the fuck did she survive by them going back to the past? Like, what was the stuff
because
to keep her alive?
apparently the bullet doesn't spread in the past in the reverse entropy area. But when did they jump from the present to the future?
They got stuck in a fucking container, and all of a sudden they're back in the past. That's
no. They went through the turnstile, and then they went into the container. When they had her,
but they went through the turnstile, right? But then they went out of the Okay, so here we go.
Uh-huh.
When you're in the upside down, you need to have an oxygen mask, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they go into the upside down. They have the oxygen mask. She's healing. They're doing their thing, and then a scene cuts to the protagonist going to the Indian woman without a mask on
because he went back.
But that's the thing.
It's like it was 2 days before the time that he actually met her in the prior timeline. He went
back into the past again.
And that's the thing. All them people should have had a mask when they went back in the past. No matter what. It's like you guys state that, but no one does it after a fact. I'm like, what the?
No, it doesn't make any sense because exactly
like that. I get what you guys are saying. If everybody that's a part of this mission is going back through the turnstile, then at all times we should be wearing a mask.
If you're in the upside down, you have to wear a mask.
Right. At no point should you have been able to have an entity that knew what was going to happen and going on because they received their instructions and they're on the upside down side without a mask, even though you're saying that that's the side they're supposed to be on. Like now you're just...
Bro, I just had an aneurysm listening to what you just said.
But that's the whole point. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's how it broke down. Like that doesn't make sense. You're right.
I'll tell you guys this. Mara's asking me about the movie and I'm explaining it to her. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop. She's like, no, I got to watch the movie. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stop because I'm getting myself a headache.
Yeah, it's so true. It just didn't make any sense because at the point they were in the upside down healing, then there's a scene where the protagonist goes and meets the Indian woman before he met her the first time. So he gets there 2 days before he actually meets her. But how did he control that?
Yeah, you're right. Because he should have been moving backwards.
Right.
How else would he?
But so no, then he jumped out of the upside down, I guess. Because he wouldn't have been able to not wear a mask if he was in the upside down meeting that woman.
So what's weird is I think you can go into the past and work regular, but you can't go into the future and work regular? That's some dumb shit.
I have no idea.
That's the paradox, man.
It's not a paradox. It's just
a paradox.
Gobbledygook.
I'm going to say the Nolan effect now.
Okay, I'll run with it.
There you go.
That is definitely the Nolan effect because I didn't see an email, a text, or anything about that one. You know how you speak to the future?
Right, yes.
I like how in order to speak to the future, it has to be documented.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, on a flip phone. And that bugged me too because I noticed the Russian dude homie had a flip phone and I'm like,
They all had at least one flip phone for private connections.
Yeah.
I think those were supposed to be the new age
non-smartphones.
Yeah. Like so track phones, but smartphone like satellite phones from the CIA.
Them new razors. I mean, not them. They actually do got razors now. They brought back the razors.
Bring back the razor?
And it's just you flip it open and it's fucking touchscreen. And Samsung took advantage of that with their new smart flip
bendable
phone.
glass.
What's that stupid shit?
Yeah.
So it's the plexiglass phone
that folds. Yeah.
By Nokia.
Glass accordion.
I'm just gonna say Nokia.
So yeah, I also like the whole rappelling up scene, meeting Priya the first time, how all of that happened. Then her showing the Tenet symbol and introducing herself in a real way, and them having a real discussion. That was all really cool. Again, I think a lot of the action-based things that were meant to catch your eye, those were done perfectly. Now there were some when we get a little later into it. Learning about Andre going to recover plutonium as a teenager. So did you start time traveling as a teenager?
No, but he found the box that I guess the future sent him personally because he found like a box that had like a deed to land and then gold bars in it, but it was addressed to him.
Right. The same type of gold bars that we saw him with later.
Yes. Yeah. So they're paying him in gold, apparently, to destroy the world. Oh, and by the way, let's talk about that for just 1 second. The future wants to destroy the past, but they talk about in this entire movie about the grandfather paradox. So everybody's just going to die? That's the
It's a
end goal?
paradox. The theory is maybe we will, maybe we won't. Let's find out.
Oh, okay.
I'd assume if you
Again,
send
don't
people
think
back
about
to,
it.
right, if you can send people to the past and to the future, go and find a guy that you don't really know or care about, you know.
If you can send people into the past, couldn't you just make decisions that would make sure that your future isn't shit?
Ooh.
Why would they why would they go destroy the world? They could have just had a scientist that fucking solve their problems.
Now, why would they want everybody to enjoy life?
They just took a concept. I mean, Christopher Nolan's Christopher Nolan, but I think if he's left to his devices, it becomes a whole fucking mushroom / follow up. We're getting high with weed afterwards.
Yeah, this is the thing, though. Is like this is momentum. If momentum didn't make sense, or memento. Memento is just like this in the way that it's like a non-linear story and it's weird and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense until the very end. But it makes sense when you look at all of the pieces after you know the end. This, I didn't really feel that way.
Never seen Memento.
Yeah. It's a good one, actually. But if it is another one of the Nolans being like, I'm going to try to mess with your mind. So.
Well, I think that everything we've said so far, I know there's a few more things to cover, but everything we said so far definitely proves the key phrase, the life-saving phrase, apparently, or the connecting phrase in this movie. We live in a twilight world, and there are no friends at dusk. I'm not too sure about the no friends at dusk part, but this is definitely a fucking twilight world.
Mm-hmm. Well, Robert Pattinson's in it, so yeah, that makes sense.
Oh gosh,
it is a Twilight world.
Wow, maybe we're in the Twilight universe.
Maybe.
But he wasn't a vampire. Never mind. He was still in the sunlight.
Yeah, you know.
Stop it.
What? Huh? Sorry.
Stop it.
And I wanted to. I realized I didn't answer your question earlier. No, I don't dislike Twilight because of Robert Pattinson. I actually think they are good movies. It's just not my cup of tea. And because of when they came out, I was really burnt out on the whole books being turned into like long book series, like Harry Potter and all of that. I was just burnt out on it at that time, and it never really caught on to me after that.
That was also peak vampire too. I mean, everything True Blood.
Yeah, everybody was doing.
Everybody was doing vampire
like
stuff.
Fucking zombies afterwards.
When I want to see a vampire movie, you know what I go watch?
Interview with a Vampire.
Or Interview with a Vampire.
Don't do it. If you've watched it recently.
What, Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah.
Last time I watched it, probably about 5-6 years ago.
Keep it that way.
I would keep it that way.
Trust me. Or you can watch Keanu Reeves' Dracula.
You know what? I'll say this with whoa, I didn't know that. Interview with
Gary
the Vampire.
Oldman.
I like, the Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman's a good vampire. I personally Interview with the Vampire. I like the Interview with the Vampire story. Like, I like the way it's written. I like the way it's filmed. Like, it's a great film. I don't know if it's the great adaptation of vampires, and it's still Tom Cruise. Like, don't get me started.
I'm trying to remember what the fuck is the name of that.
It's Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt having a love fest for each other for 2 hours. So
don't get me started. Don't get me started.
With Antonio Banderas sprinkled in there.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
He actually, for some reason, he's the comedy. I remember him as the comedy relief, because you guys are making me think I don't remember that movie the way I think I do. But
it's too long for me now. I can't sit through it.
Doing that. I mean, if I'd rather watch that one time than watch every single Twilight movie. Well, maybe not. Maybe I would like Twilight better.
They hold up. I'm just gonna say that
they stand the test of time.
I'll tell you this: before my kid was born, we went through a Harry Potter run through. Then we finished it off with Twilight.
What about Lord of the Rings? You got to put all of the series up there.
We haven't done that. She has not watched Lord of the Rings films yet.
It's like 9 hours, man. Get into it.
I'm cool with
9
that.
hours if you're on the amateur hour. You got to watch the director cuts, man.
God.
Those
Mhm.
are
Like 15
4.5
hours
hours each. Yeah.
It's like
I
15
haven't
hours.
finished the Hobbits, the last Hobbit film. I was
Yeah, don't base it off of the Hobbit films. That's for sure.
no. She's seen everything except the Lord of the Rings film, which I need to rewatch those.
Watch the extended cuts; they're better.
Okay.
That's
I'll
true.
keep that in mind if I ever decide to to venture back into that, and I probably won't. So
Tenet.
again, we live in a twilight world. Now, the there are no friends at dusk part. Isn't that kind of like a code to not trust anybody, but you're telling somebody this so that they will trust you?
So
Yeah, I thought it was like a code to let somebody know that you're in the agency. I
Right.
think that's like a CIA code.
No, I know. I think for sure it's a CIA code, but even with that, so that means that Andre at some point was CIA.
Yeah, he did say it. Yeah, which is
yeah,
weird.
he
Yeah.
just said at the end, and then too. That's why I said he was at the beginning of the movie in the truck.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Who took him?
Yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying. He was okay, no, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either. Yeah.
Because
I'm
that's
thinking
why
of a different truck or
that's
different
why he
movie.
was like, and he brings it to his wife's attention at the end when he has a little cyanide pill. He's like, "Oh, I took this off the CIA agent," and blah blah blah. So back to if you go back, because I went back to watch it to make sure, and you go back to the railroad scene. He's
Yeah,
there. He's the one beating the ass.
But that's before.
I
Yeah.
know.
That makes it
Because
even matter because that's before he even knows about Tenet.
exactly, and the thing is, Andre gets one. He takes one of the pieces in the beginning of the movie at that opera.
Yes, right.
That
He's getting a
and
piece of the algorithm.
and when they
Right.
get back into the van and knocks him out, that's when he takes that piece. That was the package.
Right. But so then why would Andre pretend like he doesn't know who the protagonist is at all?
He
Right.
knew.
But he
See, this is why I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
that makes
That doesn't
no
add up at all.
sense. Yeah, so Andre knew the entire time and he was just kind of allowing it to happen.
It bugged me because I watched this movie twice. I decided to go back yesterday and I watched it again today. I'm like, I had to catch some shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't get Andre going along with everything once we find out he has inoperable pancreatic cancer. Like, bro, I'd be killing everything that even blinked at me the wrong way. If I'm that dude with that kind of power, I'm one of the biggest arms dealer in the world. If I think you slept with my wife, bro, we're not having a discussion about this.
Mm-hmm.
I already have inoperable cancer. What are they gonna do? Send a CIA after me? They do that already.
Well, and the impetus for him to get into business with the protagonist was that there was missing plutonium on one of his deals that he's mad that he didn't get.
Right, but he was aware that that wasn't plutonium and it was a part of the
Right, it was a part of the algorithm.
And the only person that didn't know that at the time was the protagonist.
Okay, gotcha.
He was still under the impression that it was 241. Yeah. What were you about to say something, Dejan? I saw the finger go up.
No, I was thinking about vampire movies, and for some reason, I was thinking about William Dafoe in a movie called Daybreakers with Ethan Hawke
I've seen Daybreakers.
Mm-hmm.
and the guy from Jurassic Park.
And the guy from Jurassic Park. So yeah, I just and then the whole Andre's dying from cancer and he wants to take the whole world with him. It's like, all right, bro, look, now you're just losing me.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that point, I didn't even care anymore about what I was just like, all right, I know he's gonna die at some point. Let's just figure out how we get to that point.
Yeah, and then why does the future need Andre's help? You know, like
I didn't understand why him particularly. What I'm thinking is this. At some point in the future, Andre himself comes into some type of power. And what he's trying to do is the same thing that Kang the Conqueror did by sending Renslayer back with information.
how? But he has cancer. He's dying. How does he get into the future?
And that's why. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking he put all these things in play, or it could be a son, but he put some of these things in play so that they would go back, and that's why he tried to catch himself at 17 as a teenager.
It's also weird. It's also weird though too because it's like where is this future? If is it the same future that the protagonist is the head of Tenet at? Because then why? How far away is this? Is this only 10 years? Is
Or
this
Right. Is
100
it 5
years?
or is it the protagonist actually making this happen in place?
At
Yeah,
some point, I
to
started
start
thinking.
his origin story. There you
Right. I
go.
started wondering if the protagonist and the ex-wife, or the protagonist and Andre, were the same person in different timelines.
I'm done.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying, like, that's what I'm
my
saying. That's
brain
how confused
hurts.
I got at a certain point. I was genuinely that confused at a certain point where I was like, "All
Yeah.
right, explain some of this to me." Like, I don't even understand anymore. But
Mhm.
I can honestly say, at no point did it make me stop enjoying what I was watching. I was just confused as to, like, where are we going with this?
Funny enough, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It made me frustrated by the inconsistency of like this whole mechanism doesn't work. But then I just kept thinking about, I'm like, but I'm enjoying all the other stuff. Like if they just took out that like elements, this movie would have been fucking phenomenal.
I think
And
he did that
you
shit
know,
on purpose.
maybe.
You
It's
thought it
like
was
a
going to be too good of a movie?
It's like a
Yeah.
Call of Duty game. You know the online multiplayer is
Gosh.
great,
You
but
have
you're
to
gonna
have
keep
that
buying it.
ass story mode.
But no, you're gonna play the online shit.
Oh, always. You'll never play the story mode. I can't tell you the last time I played a Call of Duty story mode.
Same thing with Assassin's Creed and Pokemon and all that good shit.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for a story mode, so please don't take away story modes,
Oh, don't
guys.
take away story modes, but the Call of Duty story modes became so repetitive, I just don't even
Yeah.
look for them anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Look, just a different country.
Mhm.
They changed the name of the war or the
There's
battle,
always like
and-
2 stealth missions,
Mhm.
and yeah,
Yeah, right. Why am I going stealth? I'm in Call of Duty. I'm trying to light some things up out here.
right.
Here it is. I thought I was trying to be unique, eating fucking hot Cheeto macaroni.
Oh no, that's normal. That's the
Mhm.
thing in 2021, my friend. You want to
Yeah.
you want to be different in 2021? Tell people you actually read the package before you eat it.
Bro, they sell hot Cheeto macaroni at like hipster places for $30 for a small bowl of it.
What the fuck, man? I got
Yeah.
this shit for like $3 at the Ralph's.
This is what rich
And-
people pay for.
And I'll tell you this: yes, I did read the package. I want to
Good
see
job. Yeah.
how much sodium was going into my body.
That's right. Right. I tell people that they're like, why would I read it? I'm gonna eat it. No, you still eat it. You just should be aware of what you're putting in your body.
No, I got health issues. I gotta know what's coming out. So when the doctor said, "Did you know?" Yes, I did. I was a dumbass, sir.
At least you're making informed decisions.
That's right. I made this decision. Now show me how to fix myself.
I knew I couldn't eat that bread, but I ate it. Fuck it. A burger is not a burger without the bread.
That's true. Protein style just tends to get really drippy for some reason. I don't know why.
I'll take protein style with my buns.
I like protein style, but it's just so messy. It drips everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. For me to get full at like In and Out, I gotta have like fucking three 3x3s, protein style. If I'm gonna get full.
I mean,
You
that's
see,
because there's no substance in the meat.
Yeah. Oh, I once ate a 10x10.
Ooh,
Really?
That was fun. Yeah.
I've never attempted that.
It came in like a sideways box, like that big.
Right. That's crazy. That's a sub burger.
That's how I want to
Yeah.
die.
just smothered in burgers.
You gotta look. I hope we had some aioli and didn't put like mustard and ketchup. You gotta.
You gotta get some fanciness.
Yeah,
next,
you gotta West LA that thing up.
next time you try to get a 10x10 Flying Dutchman style.
Is that
That'd
with
be
the,
messy.
Oh yeah, with all the grilled onions and stuff?
It's basically just the grilled
Oh, no,
onions,
that's animal stuff.
grilled
What's
onions,
Flying
grilled onions, grilled peppers, and just cheese.
Oh, okay.
No patty, no
lettuce,
veggies, and none of
Oh
that.
Jesus.
I mean, not no patties, no buns.
Mm-hmm.
Can they save
Yeah.
the cheese and give me all the grilled peppers and onions?
You can. It won't be the Flying Dutchman.
I mean,
You gotta
like
love
cheese,
it.
but I don't want anything like saturated in cheese. Yeah, we're not talking about.
I know we went into a whole tangent, but you gotta love the In and Out secret menu.
Hey, listen, we live in a twilight world, and I luckily have friends at dusk. So yeah, overall that has been the cover of Tenet. So the way Tenet ends, so that you guys don't think we're leaving you short-ended in a way. Once everything gets said and done, Andre is killed by his ex-wife. They are able to.
Can we talk about the overly long silo scene? just for a
yes,
minute
we definitely
because
can.
yeah, that's where I was like, okay, I'm lost.
Longest 5 minutes, like 10 minutes of my life.
Yeah, it was way too long and it didn't make any sense. So
And
like the blue team were going in reverse.
yes, until except for geez, I forgot his name. What was his name?
Except for
Niall?
Robert
Niall?
Pattinson, who's like, "Oh no, I decided to switch."
Yeah, yeah.
How? How sway?
He went back
How?
through the and nobody ever saw that. Like, why didn't they show us
He
seeing
went
him
through a
go back?
turntable? Why was there a turntable on that place where the nuclear bomb was?
You know what I just thought
There
about
was a
something?
turnstile there, isn't it?
Why
How
would
the
there
f-
be?
Because
Oh.
that was the original drop spot for Andre's capsules. That's where he kept all his stuff.
Ah, okay.
You know what I just thought about? Why the fuck did that dude at the end turn the gun on them? He kept one of the pieces. Along with that, I'm like, could he be the little evil guy from the future?
And
Because I'm
who was
like,
the body laying on the floor? Was that Neil?
yeah, that was
So Neil was
Oh, yeah,
laying on the ground.
because he
That was
goes
the other
back.
version of Neil.
But so Neil's dead then.
A version.
Yeah.
Because that
of Neil.
a version of Neil is
I'm just gonna
dead.
keep saying that, and I don't know if it makes sense.
Because
but
that was
I'm gonna figure it
reverse
out.
Neil. Reverse Neil was laying on the ground
Right.
dead, and then he gets reanimated again, and then he runs away.
He runs out. So I think it happens again because at the end he's like, "You're not coming with me." He's like, "No,
like, no, I'm
I
gonna
gotta
go."
I gotta go back in."
Yes.
We've
So
been through a
he's
lot.
oh, so that's basically the end of Neil's life then, basically, because he's going to close that loop. So when he says like I'll meet you at the beginning, it's because he's going to meet the other Neil. But it wasn't the other Neil dead now too? Not that the I don't know
Well,
what's
no,
going
because the
on.
time ran backwards, and I agree with you. I think that could be what Neil is going to is he's going to try to set things right and end his life so that whatever type of a paradox doesn't occur.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it better than he did.
But yeah, I'm thinking about that silo situation, right? So you have even the guy who set the booby trap, like he goes back and he sets the booby trap.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? How did you set the booby trap and now you are inside trying to huh?
This is why the
And you
reverse
killed
shit
Neil.
makes me really upset because like it doesn't make any sense.
It makes you have
Why
to watch
would-
the movie in reverse like at least twice.
Right.
Hey, dude,
right.
I watched the movie twice already.
So, like the guy that was coming down from the helicopter and setting the tripwire for the protagonist and the other dude,
Mhm.
did he go down the helicopter and then undo the tripwire and then leave? Because that I don't get it. How do you?
Right.
You see these watches?
I see what you're saying.
How does he do it in reverse? Because he was
Yes.
doing it in reverse.
Right now, I'm glad you just asked that, Dijon. Yes,
Yeah.
I see those watches, and yes, I noticed that in the movie that they were synchronized at the beginning, but at different points they were not on the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, this is what I had to think, even though I don't think this makes any sense. If one's running backwards and one's running forward, would those times be equivalent? If the time, I don't know if those are the actual times that were labeled in the movie 403 and 501, but the times that we actually saw in the movie that has still been accurate to some way. I don't really understand it.
I looked it up, and supposedly these were the fucking paradox that he went to go close up to end his life.
Neil.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's so he had on the watch for both sides. He
Yep.
had to go forward to 501 because that's when his reverse self got killed.
Oh, also they decided that okay, anybody who lays eyes on the algorithm needs to die, and then they were like, no, you know what? Never mind. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just don't say anything. You promise?
Yeah, and then we're all gonna take it and hide it in different sides of the world. You know what? Here, you take mines. I'm gonna go with him. What?
Now I have like 2/3 of the algorithm.
I must say, so now he has 6 of 9 by himself.
Yeah.
It's simple. I would have just destroyed the fucking capsules, the key or whatever
Here's
they
the
should.
thing. I don't think you can destroy them because it's information and it's radioactive.
It's easy. You know what I'd do? I would
Covered in roaches.
no. I wouldn't. That's a good
Infrared
idea.
radiation. Yeah.
I would put that shit in. I would cement it and throw it in the fucking water.
That don't work
It's like, nah, it's gonna float up.
eventually.
No, you can throw it in the Marianas Trench.
There we go.
Now that
You know,
is a whole nother conversation.
there you go.
All right.
Or into one of those underwater caverns that the mermaids chill in.
There you go.
Shoot it into space.
Shoot it
No,
into
don't shoot it in
space.
space. Somebody's definitely going to hurt you.
They're going for that. Remember, they're going to destroy this planet and then move to Mars. So yeah,
You shoot it into space, it's bound to hit a Russian or a China space station, or a Chinese or a Chinese space station that's literally just been up there doing work for the last 40 years.
Oh, that's fine. We got so much shit floating up there anyway.
Ugh. You mean what was that thing called, Nick? Before we segue out of this, what was that called? The belt around the Earth, the security belt that Elon Musk was supposed to be building.
Oh, Starlink.
Starlink. You mean like
Yeah.
Starlink?
Oh yeah. Well, that now we've like literally because of all the garbage that surrounds our atmosphere, we only have like a 2-week window every month to go into space because that's when the sky is actually clear of any debris. We have so much garbage floating around our planet. Like, it's a hazard to go into space now because if one piece of debris hits your spaceship, you're dead.
You're dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid fucks.
Oh
I
my
know.
God. Thank you. Somebody said it. I was trying.
Well,
to find
it certainly isn't us blue collar folk shooting things into space now, is it? So, next time people want to point fingers, I know who to point them at.
I don't believe I make enough money to have any collars.
I'm not sure if any of us make enough money to even watch the people who decide to go in a weather balloon and say, "Look, the Earth is flat."
Oh boy,
they make more money than us.
That's true. They do. Very much so.
And that's not saying whether I believe either side of it. Just that's a silly argument to take to the skies and risk your life for.
Very silly. Somebody died doing that.
Oh, sad. I didn't know somebody actually died doing it. I know plenty of people. I know like 2 or 3 people have been paralyzed. Don't wish that on anybody either, but I didn't know that there was any actual fatalities.
Yeah.
So yeah. From there, is there anything else we'd like to cover for the end of Tenet, the movie that came out in 2020 that was directed by Christopher Nolan and scored by Ludwig Göransson, and I did not fall asleep on?
No, I think we're ready for final reviews.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I'll actually head off with the ratings for myself. So final review. I enjoyed this movie. I am gonna watch this again. Like we have a holiday weekend coming up. I might end up watching this soon again. Because I just feel like there were some definite ends. Like, all right, I gotta see this again, see if I miss anything. And I'm positive I missed plenty. Great acting, great writing. Some writing could have definitely been taken away. Some of the cinematography was a bit over the top, but overall, I liked all of it. Like, even the parts that confused me, hey, you know what? I'll take that level of confusion again, if it still lends the same level of entertainment. And yeah, I don't think that I have anything else to say about it. I mean, I might even be looking out for the next Christopher Nolan flick.
You gotta give it a number.
You're right. I do. Hey, all right, right. Closing remarks for me with no rating. Can't end like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't think of it yet, honestly.
Trying to run without a rating.
All right. Well, I'll go then.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I have to process. What is my number?
I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. Aside from picking on the things that are very easy to pick on, I want to say that like we have talked about this before in our podcasts and our episodes. Oh, we got a co-host on the show, huh? But yeah, we've talked about this before, and I really do appreciate a movie when it's doing something original. And this is certainly an original story, something I've never seen before, something like that took a lot of daring and a lot of imagination to put together. So I have to make sure that I'm appreciative of when that comes, even when they don't, stick the landing perfectly. Right. I don't think that this movie sticks the landing perfectly, but man, there's some really great stuff that I enjoy. Again, John Washington's character, his acting, very good. Robert Pattinson, very good. The score is good. The direction, the cinematography is really good. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm giving it a 7.5. A 7.5. I think it's a solid flick. the convolutedness of the mechanisms of like the gimmick were the things that really took it down for me. But if that was erased from the movie, this would I would thoroughly enjoy it still. So yeah, 7.5 for me.
Very nice, very nice. I want to say, if I can go right quick, Dejan, before you do, um, I think that's funny. I really want to look back through our ratings, Nick, and find out how often we have the exact same score. And I don't think it's often, but I also right before you, when you were starting, before you named your number, I was like, I think I could give this a 7.5. I want to give it an 8,
Mm,
but I feel like I'd be jumping giving it an 8. But a
yeah,
7.5, I feel ultra comfortable with. Like I can give it a 7.5 50 times over, and I wouldn't second guess it.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I definitely had just come to that conclusion. So I also give it a 7.5.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. For me, I give it a 6.8. My reasons.
Such an off point again.
I do that. It came close to a 7, and the reason why I give it a 6.8 is for the simple reason a handful of Christopher Nolan movies I basically kind of seen like a mirror of it. You know, from it's like he's really stuck on certain themes. He still has like this weird tone that kind of like jumps into this movie too. The story really, it could have been something really good, but it was just like I feel like he was in a room writing this with a couple other people, and it felt like he wrote himself into a corner, and or if not, he was just putting too much thought, where a lot of that thought process really wasn't needed. But beyond that, love the whole is. Give me a second, Nathan. I love. Yes. In the memory, give me a second, but again, love the ensemble. Love everybody that acted. I think everybody played their part really great. I love that aspect. The score was great. And the action sequence until the whole inverted sequence kind of bugged me because it created confusion for me.
Mhm.
But beyond that, yeah. That,
6.8. Nice.
6.8.
Brings us to.
Wait. Before you say it, I did it in my
Yeah.
head. I
Oh,
tried,
okay.
I'm not good with doing it on a calculator. It's really weird to say this, but I did it in my head, and I came about. It's a range between 6.8 and 7.2. Shoot me.
Oh no, it's so see what it was it? It was 7.5. 7.5 is 15 plus 6.8 is 21.8. That's a 7.6
Oh, okay, I was too low. But
Yeah,
I was
7 point.
getting there. I'm getting there.
7.
give it an odd number.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the record, for those who wonder what I'm doing, trying to do that in my head, I have no basis of the arithmetic that is necessary. It's just I kind of try to factor it out. Like on average, that sounds like that. That sounds close. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think 7.3 to 4. I don't know. I don't have my calculator on me, so I'm just gonna go. Let's go 7.3 because I think it is closer to that than 6. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're doing the same thing. We're both doing it mentally. Okay.
Yeah. I
Nice.
usually have my calculator right here, but yeah, I didn't bring it. So
Very nice.
7.3 is not bad. It's a good.
All right.
I mean, I think 7 is a good solid score.
Solid. Yeah. That's definitely something. Anything 7 plus. I don't think we even have to tell anybody that we suggest they go watch it.
Yeah.
That should be given.
For sure.
So yeah, thanks a lot, fellas. We appreciate this. Thanks a lot for all of those who tuned in this evening with us. Anyone who is listening later, watching later, we appreciate you at any time that you come into contact with our content and you decide to stick around and enjoy it with us. So if you really enjoy our content and you want to find out some of the other things we have going on, feel free to head over to the Thinkering page on Facebook. All of the pages that I'm going to give you are on Facebook. They are on YouTube. And when you go am I missing something? Facebook and YouTube. We also have Twitch shows, and I'll give you all of those right now. So we have the Exofathom. The Exofathom comes on Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. and the Exofathom comes on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch it listen, guys, if you have anything that you like to talk about, if you have anything that you have had a discussion with your friends or just thought about on the fly and was like, man, I wish I heard people just go in depth about that, I can promise you the Exofathom has a good chance that they will cover it in the future or they have already covered it for you. Go ahead and look through their archives and look forward to
Monday's episode is going to be on trances. So
trances. See, there we go. We're coming with more stuff. And I want to say just this last Monday, you guys did uh
we did
perception of time,
yes, yeah. How the mind perceives time.
how the mind perceives time, which I
Mhm.
thought kind of tied into the temporal
Yeah, big
sides of
time.
this movie as well. So hey, look how
Mhm.
that played into it. So yeah, definitely guys, check out the Exofathom that comes on Monday and Friday, Facebook and YouTube at 8 p.m. I have a show called If Numbers Could Talk. If Numbers Could Talk is a show where I try to pull the numbers from anywhere I can. I try to absolutely give you whatever information I find, whether I agree with it or not. I just try to ensure that there are multiple sources, and that is pretty much where I go with it. It doesn't really have to be a particular area. I have some sports on there. We have some comic books on there, vehicles. Just yesterday, in fact, I had an episode. In that episode, I covered the frequency of injuries. So, injuries in the NBA. Some of that information came from a 17-year study, and some of that information came from just as recent as last season. So, by all means, come and check me out on If Numbers Could Talk. That is on Facebook and YouTube as well, Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. And you can also check out Dejan. Dejan has Twilight and Coffee. See what you did to me, man? Dejan has Strawberries and Coffee on the Twitch channel, which comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He gets on there somewhere between 10 and 10:15 for you guys. The next day, he always posts his videos, whichever he's done. I want to say, are you still playing The Wolf Among Us right now?
It is done. I just started on Marvel's Spider-Man as of yesterday.
Marvel Spider-Man. Nice, very nice. So he's now playing Marvel Spider-Man. Check out Strawberries Coffee. That's Strawberries Coffee with an N in the middle on Twitch, 10 to 10:15 he gets on there, and the next day, whether it is Friday or on Wednesday, those videos will be posted to YouTube for you guys to go view. And he also has a page on Facebook as well, so check him out on all of those platforms. I'm sure he'd love to hear any suggestions you guys have, or just love to see you guys watching him play something that he enjoys and maybe you'll enjoy as well, and he can inspire you to do that. However, if you don't want to check out If Numbers Could Talk, if Exofathom might go a little too deep for you, if uh, Strawberries and Coffee is one of those things where you're like, I'm not sure if I'm a video game person, but you are a movie person. Come on back here to Screen Time Continuum. Check it out with us. We'll be here again for you every Wednesday, every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. And believe me when I tell you we enjoy doing this for you guys. So just give us all your love and we'll be sure to give you more content. We appreciate you guys. Have a great night. Oh, wait. This is the cost of doing it live. For the Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
I am Nick.
I'm the mustard.
And this is how you know we're genuinely here with you guys and not just throwing out recorded recordings at you.
Doing it live.
We appreciate you guys.
Or are we?
Good night.